So one thing I wanted to flag that you said, and you have heard me talk about this. You want national retailers around your asset, and if there's a Starbucks nearby, I'm happy as hell. But you don't want small local retailers, because if there's a lot of national retailers, they really do their demographical research, and they can tell when there's a good market. So it's really important. That's a big barometer. Hi, my name is Rod Khleif, and I'm the host of the Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing podcast. And every week I interview multifamily rock stars, and we talk about how they've built incredible wealth for themselves and their families through multifamily properties. So hit the like and subscribe buttons to get notified every Monday when a new episode comes out. Let's get to it. Welcome back to Multifamily Rockstars. So as you guys know, this is where we interview people that are crushing it in this business, and we show you the inside scoop as to how multifamily investors are creating massive success in their businesses and ultimately in their lives as well. And as always, I've got my co-host, who's the director of our massive action team for our Warrior Group, that is, Mark Nagy on. Mark?
Hey, Rod. Good to be back for another one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So today we've got Daniel Velez. So Daniel is a licensed CPA. He's done that for 11 years, doesn't do taxes. He's on the audit financial reporting side, the more interesting side. And he's also a real estate agent in New Jersey. He's been doing that for a good bit of time. And I think joined the Warrior program a little over a year ago. And we're lucky to have him today. What's happening, brother?
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate being here.
Absolutely. So why don't you do a much better job of, introducing yourself than I just pathetically did, and tell us who you are and why real estate. CPAs make pretty good money, and talk about, your journey a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I got my CPA license out of school, and you have your conversations with all your professors. Where do you want to go? And they all push you towards go to Big Four, audit side if you can. You'll get to learn and see a lot more of just overall business operations, financial operations. So that's what I did. Had a great time there. Learned a ton. I was just an absolute sponge. After a couple of years there, I wanted to travel the world. So I joined a global pharmaceutical company. Got to travel the world on their dime. It was fantastic. Got to see so much, learn so much on a global operation scale. That was something I didn't get in my public accounting experience. So I got to see that. And the fun part about that was basically every country I was in every month, the operations were a little bit different. So I had to learn that company or that entity pretty quickly to get caught up to speed. But all the controls were pretty much the same. So little nuances here and there, but that was a great experience. While I was traveling on the road a lot, I started reading about
what countries? Sorry to interrupt. What countries did you go into, just out of my own edification?
Sure. India, England, Germany, Ecuador, Panama, Argentina, Brazil.
Wow.
Couple cities within the U.S. Yeah, so I was out of the country or on the road for 2 weeks a month.
Wow. Oh, that's cool. What an incredible experience.
Yeah,
okay, sorry. Please continue. Sorry, please continue.
Yeah. So while I was traveling, I started reading about entrepreneurship. Read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and then one of my old managers from public accounting had recruited me over to join a residential solar installer. They were a number one competitor to Solar City at the time. So they had just gotten acquired. They were going to go through a restructuring. Instead of helping that company grow and scale, they announced that they were actually going to shut down business operations. So I fell on a small team that was actually responsible for shutting down operations. So a little bit different of an experience. Then during that time,
still valuable though, right? I mean, still valuable. When you shut down a company, you learn a ton. Ask me how I know.
Yeah.
I hate that I know how to do that, but yes, I do. But I'm sorry. Please continue.
Yeah, that back of the envelope math was always a little bit different once the actual start rolling through. So, but no, great experience. Read Rich Dad Poor Dad, started thinking more about real estate, just different businesses. That led to me buying a small school bus to start a brewery tour operation. Didn't pan out, but we had a bunch of fun with it anyway. And then I still had that itch to join like a scaling startup company. I ended up doing that. I was there for 4 years. We were acquired in September 2021. I was the 25th employee. We grew the company to 165 employees at the time of acquisition. So it was great growth, great scale, had an amazing management team there, learned a ton from them. And then basically post acquisition, I kind of decided to go off on my own. I wanted to start focusing more on real estate, something I've always had an interest in. And then I also started my own consulting business, kind of focusing on that startup in the tech space, that's Series A, Series B, letting founders and just new ops folks focus on product getting to market and let me take care of the back end, the financials, certain KPIs, reporting metrics, and just make sure that the financials make sense for who their investors are. So delivering that to them. So been doing that, and recently just closed on my first 84 unit here with a couple other warriors. So excited to get that going.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Wow. You've done a lot, brother. And love the consulting. I mean, the fact that, you're helping budding, aspiring tech companies find money is that sounds exciting as well. But let's talk about real estate. That's why we're here. So
Yeah.
why'd you join the Warrior Program? You have a lot going on. If you exited a company with the way you described, I think you probably didn't leave broke. So you probably made a couple bucks. So why multifamily? Why
Yeah.
Warriors?
So in the background of all this, I've been running a local meetup group here in Central Jersey for the past 6 or 7 years. And for the first couple of years we got going, we kind of focused on that bigger pockets crowd of the fix and flippers, the wholesalers, the BRRRR strategy, 1 to 4 units.
Sure.
We had a couple syndicators pop in and out. We had decent crowds for those events, but it never actually clicked. We did have a local syndicator kind of come in, and the way he presented it, everything finally clicked over the years. And I was like, oh man, that makes a lot of sense. Just on the multifamily side, thinking about how I view business now after being in startups for the last 5-6 years, and just the ability to scale. So I've done the fix and flips, I've done the wholesaling, I've tried to do and manage the small rentals. And it's a lot more difficult than people think about.
Oh, stop it. It's so easy.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. How many did you do? Tell me how many you did. Approximately.
I did single family, 1 fix and flip, and we have a family.
Right. How many did you do?
4, and it was enough.
Okay. Well, I did 2,000 and it took me that many to get the memo. Okay. So you're much smarter than I am. Just so you know. Good God. Hell yeah, they're easier it's much harder to do single family it is to do what we do. Sorry, I keep interrupting you. I'm going to get a lot of hate. I'm going to get a lot of hate on this episode for that. But anyway, so
yeah, just thinking about business and scaling operations. Did a bunch of research, talked to a couple different folks who have their syndication businesses locally. And multifamily, right, was always going to be the most consistent. People always need a place to live. And in certain markets, locations, right, they're always going to want to be there. So if you're close to a downtown, if you're in a major metropolitan area, a growing city, I don't think you're going to be able to go wrong there, right? And there's always going to be room for improvement of operations, improvement of rents, making sure you're on top of the asset as a whole. And then there's just so many systems in place. There's no reason to recreate the wheel here in the space. There's been thousands and thousands and thousands of people over history who've made their fortunes in real estate. It's a long road, but it's stable and it's consistent. And being a CPA, pretty conservative in nature, that aligns pretty good with my values.
So again, back to my question. Did you come to a boot camp? Is that how you joined? Or
no,
how did
actually, so I started looking at a couple of the different programs. One of my old senior accountants at my startup, his friend was actually in the program. So I got on the phone with the Wells. So I spoke to Jonathan.
The Wells. Oh, good people.
So I spoke to Jonathan
and Sam.
And he was, and simple question. I was like, would you be where you are today without the program? Short answer was no. And I was like, that's all I needed to hear. So
wow.
Made the call
great to know.
A couple days later. And got on the horn, and here we are.
Here we are. Okay. So where's this 84 unit that you bought?
So this is in a small town called Indiana, Pennsylvania. It's about an hour east of Pittsburgh. Location right across the street from the university, right on the main road. There's 2 Starbucks each direction, next to Burger King, Walmart, Kohl's, local shopping center. There's a bus stop right outside. It's a LIHTC property, so low-income housing tax credit. It's just coming to the end of its 30-year agreement. So we'll be able to take advantage of that in the 2 years when that ends in 2025.
And so what he means, guys, is they're going to be able to bring the rents to market level, which is that going to be significant from what you can see?
Oh, yeah. We should be able to get a nice spread there. The beauty of it is we bought it at a massive discount.
Fantastic.
So.
And this was a JV deal, joint venture. So you didn't syndicate this deal.
Didn't syndicate it. We kept all the money with ourselves. So there's 6 total partner groups. For the team members are out in Pittsburgh. So they're going to be the boots on the ground, which is great. I'm here in Jersey, and then we have a partner down in Florida who has that LIHTC experience, and he's significantly more experienced than the rest of us on the team. So he's just making sure we're staying within the guardrails, and we're learning every day. And it's been just so much fun so far.
So one thing I wanted to flag that you said, and you have heard me talk about this. You want national retailers around your asset, and if there's a Starbucks nearby, I'm happy as hell. But you don't want small local retailers, because if there's a lot of national retailers, they really do their demographical research, and they can tell when there's a good market. So it's really important. That's a big barometer. So I love the fact that. That you flagged that. So
yeah, it probably wouldn't have been an asset that I would have dug into further had it been further away out on the outskirts of town, but this is right on the main road.
You mentioned you got this deal at a discount. How'd you guys find it? On market broker, off market, direct to seller? How'd you get that?
Yeah, so I found this from a broker. I was scouring LoopNet one day, or Crexy, one of the two. There's a deal that was just outside my buy box that I had set. So I said, let me do a quick underwrite. Didn't hit the parameters that I was really looking for and the overall returns that I was looking for. So I just shot the broker an email. I said, hey, I just took a look at this property that you had listed on LoopNet. It's a little bit outside of our buy box. I attached my buy box. I gave the feedback, and I just asked if she was available for a call. We jumped on a call the next day. She mentioned this property, and she was like, it is outside your buy box in just terms of price, but it had the number of units, had the vacancy or the occupancy that we were looking for, and then a couple of the other demographics that we kind of zone in on. So I said, you know what? Yeah, I'll take a look at it. We looked at it. The numbers worked, right? And then so I knew I had the first warrior I had met actually at the first warrior events only. He's in Pittsburgh, so I sent it to him to take a look at. He connected me with another warrior who's in Pittsburgh who also underwrote the deal and presented it to him a day later. So the three of us got on the phone and we said, let's go make a push at this deal. So yeah, this one came from a broker. It wasn't.
So you met a warrior at a warrior event.
Yep.
And that's how that's in Pittsburgh, and that's how this what do you call it? This waterfall of communication started. You said something else. You kind of alluded to your buy box, and I think for edification of the listeners, talk about what your buy box is. So what did you tell that broker you were looking for? Can you be a little more specific?
Sure. So we're kind of looking for those class C plus Bs. So this way there's an avenue for the value add, and then we're looking for a minimum of 50 doors.
Okay.
And location wise, we're looking for a B plus area. We don't want the A areas, but we just want to make sure it's going to be stable. It's going to be that middle class, working class group, where we're not going to have to go in and do a massive tenant turnover. But the item with this property was that there's quite a bit of deferred maintenance on it. And so it was going to be a little bit heavier of a lift. The price again, right? We paid 1.45 million for this property for 84 units. Rents are $680. So they left us plenty of room there. Yeah. So it was a really good deal, just on the surface. And then once we actually went to go walk the property, the team was just thrilled with the shape that it was in. Property management had done a really good job over the time, just keeping up with all the tickets. Great reviews from the tenants, which was hit or miss.
It's always good. Always good.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, we checked all the boxes. So our buy box is that 50 units, want that value add.
Perfect.
So that's C plus simple rehabs. It's kind of what we're looking for.
Perfect. I have one more comment here, Mark, but I'm sorry I'm stealing all your thunder. But I will tell you that 50 unit is a sweet spot. Okay. And because it's typically not the most sophisticated sellers that you're buying from. Institutional players aren't interested in it. And, you can get some great deals as evidenced by the fact that, this deal you got. And I want to mention something else. We talked about this being a joint venture. See, a joint venture, in a joint venture, everybody has to be active. And you've got 5 or 6 people in that deal, which is absolutely doable, that everybody's playing a role in that deal. If you take money from someone and they're not active, you absolutely have to syndicate. And, I drill that into I drill that into my warriors. But that deal is solid. The way you did it is solid. So, great job on it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
One thing we haven't kind of talked about is this timeline, right? I think if my dates are correct, it maybe took you 15, 16 months from when you became a warrior to closing this first deal. And probably in that time frame, it could probably feel like a long time, right? Before you get your first deal. And this is really important, right? Thinking long term. I know Rod talks about the law of the first deal, but what was your mindset going into this that you've had through that entire 15, 16 months that kept you moving forward and kept you continuing to make progress instead of quitting like a lot of people might?
Yeah, I think I knew that it was going to be a longer game, right? And I was being really patient. throughout my search and just communicating with the different teams where I've had opportunities to jump on and be a capital raiser. But I really wanted to get my hands or my feet wet and really jump in on the asset management side and kind of own and control and go through that process and just drink from the fire hose right off the bat. So my search range on that initial was definitely a little bit smaller than most. And then I was also looking for, I wanted to experience, that was the big thing, right? And then focus on working with a team that I felt super, super comfortable with. And that was really what I was kind of doing, as all the meetings that I've built and all the relationships that I've built so far over the past 16 months now. But at that time, I think when we got under contract, that was maybe 10 months in. But yeah, just finding the people that I felt really, really comfortable with, working on and going through a deal and making sure that if I'm unavailable, somebody else will be available to pick up the slack. Or if they're unavailable, I'll be available to pick up the slack. So
how did you
came to fruition?
How did you evaluate these team members, these warriors, for example? What sorts of things did you look for, and how? Talk a little bit about because you're obviously very analytical, extremely analytical, and so I'm sure that you put them, at least in your corner, you put them through some sort of a process. They may not have known they were in a process, but I'm sure you put them through a process. So can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that like our overall values aligned, right? Like make sure. So you have that partnership questionnaire that's out there. So we had gone through that and just asked some simple questions.
Good.
Yeah. So just simple questions of just, what are the things that are important to you? Why are you in this space? Are you just in it for a quick buck? What's the long-term play? What are their goals? So we wanted to make sure we aligned on a lot of those. And then obviously, right, just being able to have a laugh and a conversation with that person outside of work and actually enjoying it, where I'm not feeling pressured or sales or just being overanalyzed of what's the true value that I can bring. They were just really genuine relationships right off the bat.
Love it. And I was hoping that's what you would say. And since you did, I want to let you know, guys, partnerships are like a marriage. They're easy to get into and hard to get out of. Ask me how I know. And so, you want to ask all the hard questions up front. And I've got a free resource for you. If you go to rodslinks.com, or rods plural, links plural.com, it's in the free book section. It's a list of questions you should ask before you get into a freaking partnership. Important questions, because you get excited about a deal, or you get excited about someone you meet, and just like when you're dating, and I'm dating again, so I know all about this right now. And so you get excited, and then and then it doesn't work out. And so it's really important that you ask these hard questions up front, even when you're dating. Can't believe I went there. But anyway, so if you go to rodslinks.com and go to the free books, that book is there, and it's very valuable. I highly recommend you use it. And lastly, before we move on, trust your gut, trust your intuition. Your brain is so powerful that it'll pick up on micro nuances that you don't consciously pick up on yourself. And I like this example from a book called Blink, where the best art experts in the world can be looking at a painting and they know it's a fake, but they don't know why they know it's a fake. And so it's the same thing when you meet someone. If your gut doesn't feel right, freaking trust it.
So Daniel, now that you have that first deal closed, how much easier do you think it's going to be to get the next one, the next one, the next one? I know this happens very often, but I want to hear it from you.
No, I think it's going to be significantly easier. Just being able to talk to brokers, I feel that there's a much more natural confidence that I have about speaking. Like I was very educated on the process, but you don't really know until you go through it, right? So I've taken an education as far as I can go. And now just being able to go through it and actually having examples, having those conversations, being in those different scenarios or before, significantly more confident. And actually the broker that we bought this property from, she just sent us another portfolio unit that we're in the process of underwriting. Same team, we'll look at some more experienced partners. It's a little bit larger, but hopefully that'll pan out as something, because again, those are great locations. So we'll see where it goes. But yeah, I feel much more confident now going forward.
Beautiful. And that's one of the benefits of the Warrior program. There's so many sponsorship groups in there. So if you need a more experienced group that you got to raise more money, you're going to actually syndicate, for example. There's just so many options like that. So let me ask you a question. We get so many, and this is a question I ask almost every time. We get so many people that are listening that have not taken action towards their dreams. They're, in a job they don't love, or maybe they're in a job they love, but it's not going to give them the retirement that they want, the freedom that they want, and they haven't taken action yet. And I really believe we're heading into an incredible environment to buy deals. We've got one that we think is going to go under contract today or tomorrow. that was at 28 million. We're getting it for 18. Okay. So we're seeing huge discounts right now. So, the people that are listening that haven't taken action, aspiring, commercial real estate investors, give them some words of wisdom, give them some advice, please.
Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
I know that's where I was stuck for a long time before joining a group, was just trying to go at it on my own. And it was difficult. So being able to ask for help, I think, is just pushing your ego aside briefly. Everybody has to start somewhere, and there's a lot of smart people out there that are just looking to give their advice. So be genuine about the questions that you're asking. Try to bring value where you can, right? I'm analytical, spent a long time in spreadsheets, so I'm always happy to underwrite for folks or review underwriting. And then I'm always happy to present my underwriting, not for somebody who's more experienced in a particular market, just to make sure that my assumptions fall in line with what they're seeing and what they've done before.
Are you using the new underwriting software that Craig and our team put out, or are you using something else?
No, I kind of built my own a little bit.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
Of course you did. Well, we've got some kick-ass software. Craig has done this incredible
Craig's model
job.
Wild.
Oh yeah, it's really good, and it's free to warriors. But of course you have your own. I should have. I bet you kick ass with asset management. Just your attention to detail. Are you playing a role in the asset management on that property?
Yeah. So I'm going to be one of the main managers on the deal. So it's myself and another warrior. He's going to be kind of pushing the contractors forward, and then I'll be on the backside making sure that we're sticking in line with our budget and our business plan.
Do you feel like you've gotten value from the warrior program?
Oh yeah, the relationships alone, right? That was the biggest thing by far, was just making sure I could find people that I could trust. And then just having like the mindset, that the positive mindset stuff that you push out in the content, that is so important, especially, right? You'll see folks who join a group with already a couple assets under their belt, or folks who just hit the ground running and they're at 100 doors within a month. And you're like, whoa, right. But just staying focused, staying positive, and then just being patient with it. Yeah. I mean, so much value there for sure.
Thank you. By the way, if you're listening and you're interested in applying to the Warrior program, text the word CRUSH to 72345. Again, that's CRUSH, so we can help you freaking crush it in this business, to 72345, and we'll check you out and you check us out. And if it's a fit, you are going to freaking love it. And if it's not, you'll still leave that call better than when you came on. So again, text CRUSH to 72345. And we will look forward to speaking with you.
So Daniel, I know your husband, father, accountants, all that sort of stuff. Those are typically excuses that people use to not take action, right? How have you overcome that? And what did you tell yourself to just jump in and get started when you have all those things going on in your life?
One of the goal setting workshops, right? Where it's like you really draw out and you put everything on paper, what you want in the future. And then following the miracle morning process of just writing down what that future looks like, and then just visualizing it. And then really being detailed about what my day is going to look like. So I always block out time for underwriting, deal searching, calling a broker. I try to do at least 1 or 2 tasks a day towards real estate, towards moving my business forward on this aspect, outside of my consulting business and my agent business, right? So just really want to make sure that I'm doing something on a daily basis to make sure I'm striving forward. Even if it's just a phone call with another warrior or somebody else who's local, interested in real estate, just trying to expand. But I just 1 or 2 things every day, just kind of keep pushing it forward.
That's fantastic. You mentioned goal setting, which obviously that's the first thing we do at our boot camps, because how the hell do you get anything if you don't know what it is? You got to know what you want. You got to know why you want it. And you talked about time blocking, which is another thing that's, by the way, if you're listening and you haven't done your goals in a while, go to rodslinks.com. At the bottom is my goal setting workshop. I do it every day on New Year's Day, every year on New Year's Day. And there's a guide you can download. We're not going to try to sell you anything. People spend more time planning a freaking Christmas party than they do designing their lives, and that's designing your life. So if you haven't done it, if your spouse hasn't done their goals, have them do it as well. It takes about an hour. You'll leave so freaking juiced, you'll be coming out of your skin. And then, if you've got kids that are over 10 years old, have them do it. Better yet, come to one of my boot camps. But if you can't, go to Rod's Links and do it there, because that's how you get that hunger. You've got to have a burning desire. You got to have hunger to go out there and make it happen. And you said something else I wanted to elaborate on. You said you talked about Hal Elrod in the Miracle Morning. I just interviewed him 3 days ago on the show again. He's got a new book. He's real kind. He sent me a autographed copy. It's not even out yet, but Yeah, if you want a great book, get The Miracle Morning. Talk about what you do every morning to set your day off right. It's a gift that I give my warriors, and because it's so impactful. And talk about journaling in the morning, exercising in the morning, meditating or praying in the morning, and just starting your day off right like that is incredibly powerful.
Unless you're like me, you're not a morning person, then you can make it a miracle evening. I prefer that.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. As long as there's a miracle in there.
It's my miracle evening. I just switched it. No, Daniel, we talked about the underwriting, the analytical, but you kind of glossed over something. You have a networking group that you've done for many, many years. And for people listening that may want to do the same, start a local meetup, whatever, what are some tips that you can give to them to help them get started and build that community of attendees coming to those?
Sure. Yeah. We started off in a brewery. So it was great location, social. It was just open networking at first. And we just wanted to see who we could get. Right. And this was probably 6-7 years ago. We maybe started off with maybe 7-8 people for our first meetup. And then right before COVID, we were averaging 35-40 people at every meetup with speakers. And we were getting great turnouts and just such a wide spread of folks who just listened to their first podcast, to folks who had significant assets under management, or folks who had successful wholesaling businesses or flipping businesses, different contractors. But yeah, no, my advice would be to find a great location and then just let people know that you're having a meetup. So we used to put it on meetup.com, Facebook, Bigger Pockets. We eventually set up our website where we were building out that email list over time. So I think that's up to over 1,000 names realistically. So just really letting people know in the network. And then we built a great relationship with our venue as well. So it would slower during the week. And then we would come in with 30-40 people once a month towards the end, and they would love it, right? So they would cater to us a little bit and offer a couple discounts. They'd bring on an extra bartender. But yeah, so just make sure that you're obviously publicizing it, and then find out what people want to learn about. So that really helped too. At the end of every meeting, we'd always ask, what do you want to learn about next? Who's someone that you might want to hear of that's a local that we can invite to come and speak? And so that's exactly what we did, right? Just ask the people what they were looking for, and we brought it over to them.
It's so awesome that you did that. I mean, I've a lot of warriors that since they become warriors have done that and very, very successfully. And I talk about this where, you can act as if, even if you're not experienced in a particular area of business, you can act as if by bringing in experienced speakers. By you being the host, you're perceived as being, as having knowledge and experience in that particular area. And same with being a podcaster. You interview experts. And again, by being the host, you're perceived as the expert and you're acting as if. So, what's great about the fact that you have that is, of course, that's going to be a great source for raising money for you at some point. It's in fact, before social media, I've had, people on the show with 5, 6, 7, 10,000 doors, and they started before social media, and that's how they did it. It was called Real Estate Investor Club meetings before even Meetup, and they raised, tens of millions of dollars by doing these weekly or monthly meetings and meeting people. So, it's fantastic that you're doing that, and it's, it's fun. You have fun with it. You meet great people. It's just a home run all the way around. So last question I have for you, brother, is what's your definition of success?
Ooh, good one. So I think, right, I don't think there's no one set definition, but my definition would be, are you happy at the end of every day? Right. So I'm successful today. And is it my long-term goal? Not necessarily. I have those long-term goals, but did I give it almost 100% every day? Sure, some days aren't, but did I make strides towards what I'm working for? And am I grateful for the things that I have around me? Yeah. So success is super simple. I think I'm one of the most successful people on the planet.
You married kids? I forgot. Are you married, kids?
Yep. Married. And we have a 5-month-old daughter.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How fun.
It's just so
That's
fun.
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, listen, thanks for coming on the show, brother. I really appreciate you bringing some wisdom and really impressed with what you got going. And just based on the caliber of your answers, I mean, you'll be on in a couple of years with a few thousand doors. I can see that coming a mile off. So
I hope so.
No, it's done. I can see it. Seriously. Thanks for coming on, brother. Nice to see you. So one other quick thing. We encounter so many people that are frankly frustrated. They're looking in the mirror and they're frustrated that they haven't been able to escape the rat race. They haven't been able to build cash flow to the point where they're able to have financial and time freedom with their families. And maybe they see other people buying real estate and creating, incredible cash flow. And they think, well, it's just scary. Buying apartments is intimidating. And I get it. See, that's why we created our Warrior Mentorship Program. They're our coaching students, and they've had extraordinary results. My students, I've been teaching about 5 years, and they own upwards of 140,000 units now that we know of, right? And we feel like it's just getting going. Now, we're looking to grow this group and really take it to the next level. And honestly believe that the greatest transfer of wealth could be upon us right now with this current economic environment. Everything's going on sale. So we're looking for people who want to follow a proven framework, really like a blueprint or a map, literally step by step. And then they're able to leverage our systems and our incredible network to raise money and equity, to find deals and close those deals and build partnerships, really nationwide. So if you're interested in finding out more about how you can become more in our incredible network and take advantage of the unbelievable opportunities that are upon us, you can apply to my Warrior Mentorship Program by texting the word CRUSH to 72345, or you can go to mentorwithrod.com. And what we'll do is we'll set up a call so you can check us out and we can check you out and see if it's a fit. Now, again, you can go to mentorwithrod.com or text the word CRUSH to 72345 to apply, and we will speak soon.